Well, hello everyone. I wanted to make this quick video to tell you a story about April of 2020. When the pandemic hit and everything shut down, I kind of went into this little hole and decided, I need to do something bigger and better with my life. And so I'm going to tell you that story, and I'm also going to lead into the coaching program that I'm releasing here starting in January of 2022. So stay tuned in. So it started back when the pandemic came, March of 2020. I mean, we can all talk about if it was here before or after, but basically when the world was shutting down. And I was just going through this time where I was coaching real estate agents, I was growing our company, and I've been a real estate agent, well, back then it would have been 16 years, and I had been coaching for over 4. And I just felt like there was something missing. There was something missing in my purpose. Financially, we were set, but I'm always driven. And so I was kind of going through this guilt of being a Christian woman, being a high achieving Christian woman, and could I spend my money on a different house or another car? Or do I feel guilty about the house I live in because I could give more money elsewhere? Or am I doing what God intended for me? Selling houses and training and helping and coaching agents to sell houses. Like, is that what I was meant to do? And so I just went through this whole thing of, I'm going to write this coaching program for other women who are struggling with this. And what I realized was that I spent all of April, May, and part of June hiding in my husband's football room. And I wrote an amazing program called Live Better. And it's all about reinventing, realigning, and redesigning. And I decided that I was going to do some free webinars on this. And by the way, I wanted to thank Anne for this card because she wished me luck with my new program and everything. And you may have all saw a glimpse of it. And I immediately was like, just not feeling it. I spent literally 2.5 months, I've never spent that long, writing something and creating something, and then I closed the book and I let it sit. Until this past few months, in October, I had a women's retreat in Puerto Rico. And I had some really high achieving women there, really high D drivers. And I'm like, you know what, this is it. All of these women have expressed they want to become closer to Christ. They want to realign, redesign. And again, I literally just held back what I had to share for like 3 days. And I robbed them literally of having this material. And so about the 4th day I brought it out and I did a lesson on money. And they were all like, this is what God intended for you. This is what you need to share. Like, why were you holding this from us? We want all 7 lessons, right? And so they just really, really wanted more. So the next week I had another women's retreat and there were a new set of 4 women there. And I shared the same lesson and I shared a little bit more, and they all basically reaffirmed for me that I should share this. And being a woman of faith, but also talking about faith in a highly driven business world is challenging nonetheless, but it's easy to pick up someone else's material and for me to teach that and believe that and be like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. But when I composed my own, it was really hard for me to share that. What I realized was back in 2020, I wrote this for me. I opened up my Bible for me to discover and to help me stay realigned, redesign my life, simplify my life, get clarity, all in a God-centered way. And so I think so many of us as high-achieving women, we are doing things out of worldly obligation, out of worldly competition, out of worldly, it isn't enough. And that's actually not what I felt inside. I didn't feel like I wasn't enough. I just keep feeling like I could do more. And so even though I'm content, but I'm able to do more, why wouldn't I do more? So anyway, going through this whole thing, Live Better is coming January of 22. So I wanted to share that story with you, that I'm still feeling vulnerable about sharing all 7 lessons of this because let's face it, I'm a newer Christian. I can't tell you the day that I started walking with God. Like I knew God all through my childhood and believed in God, but was I walking with God? Probably not. After my divorce, definitely not walking with God, just totally different person, different world. And so now, just the past few years, and I think even since I've written this curriculum, this lesson, I don't even know what to call it, I still feel like I'm a newer Christian. So I'm very like shy to share it because I'm like, well, what if I'm wrong? Like, what if I'm teaching the wrong thing? And I've really been led to believe that I'm not teaching the wrong thing. And I actually talked to my pastor's wife, Shannon McKee. She's actually going to look over everything for me. But I'm also excited to announce that she is Enneagram certified. And if you haven't taken the Enneagram assessment, it assesses your qualities, your gifts, the things that God gave you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the Enneagram. We are going to take those gifts that God gave you and take those strengths that you have and capitalize on those as you share your gifts with the world. So Shannon's actually going to come in and teach part of this 8-week course. And so here's some of the things that are going to be covered, just so you know. Clarity, what are you doing currently out of obligation, or what are we doing that, we want to be more God-centered, right? Are we doing it out of obligation, or are we doing it because that's truly part of our purpose? Simplicity, we're going to create some space in our schedule. We're going to prioritize and let go of things that are not serving us, that are not in alignment with Christ. And then, of course, make sure that we create some calm and use those gifts as He intended. And then, of course, connection is the 3rd lesson. Money is the 4th lesson. And really just talking about how this is all God's money. And, we could be high achieving women making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and we can still elevate the talents and gifts that God's given us and take that money and recirculate His money back into His kingdom. So we're going to talk more about that. Living with purpose, right? Just because you can afford things and you're not in need does not mean we shouldn't strive to still do our best and live our purpose. So I still, obviously you can see I struggle with this. Integrity is lesson 5. Energy is lesson 6. That is actually my favorite one. And then lesson 7 is freedom and life purpose. So I may rearrange those orders by the time we release this in January, but I wanted to share it with all of you. And if you are interested at all, this is going to be limited to 20 women. And I need you to private message me, and then I will send you a PDF with all of the details, all of the fees. I will be running this January 1 through February 28th. Right now, it's tentatively Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Every Thursday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I think it's January 6th through like February 26th, whatever those Thursdays are, and it's 8 weeks. So just know that, again, this is going to be limited to 20 high-achieving women that would like to reinvent, realign, and redesign their life and business centered around Christ. So hopefully you'll join me.